Body, Mind, Spirit. I'm Jane, and I am so happy that you are still with me here in this timeline and in this space. So, I would love to share something that I find really important for our bodies, our minds, and our spirits. And it's a part of the reason why I'm not at the Promise Resource Network in this right now moment, and that you're catching this as a replay. Even though this is a replay, please feel invited and encouraged to leave comments, whether you're checking this out on YouTube or on Facebook. Leave comments. I get to look back at them and read them, and it feels amazing. Sometimes I get to respond to them. So please, like I said, leave comments, leave your experience, whatever it is. And if you're catching this airing live, then if you comment and other people can see that, and then they can comment with you, so that it can be this experience still together. So thank you for checking this out. So the reason why I'm not at Promise Resource Network in this right now moment that you're catching this on the replay is because I am not in this now, but when this right now to you, this right now to me, I'm still in Charlotte, but this right now to you, I'm in Florida. I have a dear friend of mine that invited me to her home to just come and recharge. And that's what I kind of want to talk about in this body, mind, spirit offering. So, before we begin, I would like to invite all of us to just take a few deep, cleansing, nourishing breaths. So, just take a really big inhale and a really big exhale. Do two more of those really big and full inhales. Fill up your lungs, fill up your belly. And then as you breathe this breath out, let your shoulders soften and your jaws relax. The next breath comes in with ease and with depth. And the next breath out, giving yourself perhaps a sense of peace, a sense of presence, a sense of stillness, a sense of calm, a sense of just being with you. Maybe you're alone, maybe you're with others, but that you actually get to be with you. What a gift. You, this breath, this body, this now moment. It's a good day. So, I have realized something about myself that isn't necessarily true for everyone, and I also feel like it's true for a lot of humans. So, if this doesn't resonate for you, it doesn't mean that you're not human. It just means that we're wired a little differently, and that's okay. It's still going to be really beneficial information. So, if what I start to say doesn't resonate, please stay with me, because I'm going to go into a little bit more depth on why it's still going to be super beneficial for all of us to receive this medicine that I'm going to share. Anyway, so I realized about myself that I recharge in nature. I recharge with the medicine of the earth. I recharge when the sun is shining on me. I recharge when I'm in the mountain air. I recharge when I'm at the ocean. I recharge when I'm at a creek or a stream or a river. I recharge when I'm walking barefoot on the earth. I recharge when I'm walking in the woods. I recharge when my hands are in the garden. I recharge when I'm sitting around a fire. I recharge with when the wind blows through my hair. I have always been this way. I get a lot of medicine from the earth herself. And before I even understood the depths of why and the science behind it all, I just knew that when I would go outside and get my hands in the dirt or lay out in the sun, that I would feel better, no matter how I was feeling to begin with. So when I was depressed, sometimes it was really hard for me to get my butt outside and to get in the sun, but that's what probably kept me alive. When I'm angry, or when I'm experiencing anxiety, when I get my feet or my hands on and in the earth, I get to discharge a lot of that energy, that anger energy, that frenetic feeling, or that anxiety, and that beating heart that I don't know what to do. When I get my bare feet on the earth or get my hands in the dirt, I ground myself. I become anchored back into what's real and what's important. And that's always the present moment. So if I'm experiencing anger, I can let it move through me with more ease instead of me trying to shove it down or drink it away or ignore it and pretend it's not happening. Because then that energy just stays in my body. Or if I get my hands in the dirt, then I remember what is real. It's this now moment. And I'm growing my life and it's all good, right? So part of this medicine of the earth that I get a lot out of is the sun. And these past few months, or it's been many moons now, that it seems that there are lines being sprayed in the sky that turn into a veil that blocks the sun. And we can call them chemtrails, contrails, particulate trails. It doesn't matter what we call them. They're chemicals that are being sprayed out of not commercial airlines as they are desiring to track the wind patterns in the upper atmosphere, which doesn't matter. We don't even need to know that, but whatever. That's a side note. Anyway. But, NASA has come out, like, they've shared this information that they've been spraying lithium, barium, and cadmium. That's nuts. Not gonna lie. That's nuts. We don't need that. We don't need the aluminum that they're spraying just to check the wind patterns. But what that does is it blocks a lot of the sunlight. It's like putting sunglasses over the sun. And the sun itself, the solar source of energy, is imperative to life on Earth to grow, to feel nourished. We get nourishment from the sun. And we can look at the scientific studies and we can see that we get a very important vitamin, a very important nutrient from the sun, and it's vitamin D. So that's what I want to talk about, is the reason why I'm doing this as a pre-recorded, um, is because I need more vitamin D. I need medicine. Um, so I don't go to traditional medical doctors. I get my medicine from the earth. And so I am in Florida, soaking up some sun. I'm getting medicine. I'm getting salty, clean air because the air that is where I am, although it's not bad, it's not as clean as I need it to be as healthy as I can. And I'll be getting my butt in the ocean so I can just get that saltwater medicine that's not so chlorinated and full of fluoride. I don't need that. So I want to talk about the benefits of vitamin D because many of us spend a lot of time indoors and we wait until nice days or when the weather's pleasant or it's summer or whatever before we actually go outside. And we've been told so many things about how the sun is cancerous. It causes cancer, it causes cancer. When actual research is done, the cancer rates of like the skin cancer rates went up with the introduction of certain chemicals that they put in sunblock. So you can call it correlation, you can call it causation. Either way, doesn't align for me. But the medicine of the sun, we get vitamin D. Like, we need vitamin D, y'all. And because we spend so much of our time indoors, oftentimes we have to take vitamin D supplements. How many of you are taking a vitamin D vitamin right now because you are vitamin D deficient? It could be a big handful of y'all, it could be a big handful of many of us because we don't have enough sunlight in the way our culture is set up to be. Our society, right? Sit in office 8 hours a day, go in before the sun comes up and leave after the sun goes down if you want to be successful, right? That's just what we're taught. So, they say for us to get the amount of vitamin D that we actually need for our health and wellness, which I'm going to get more into that in a minute, like what we actually get from it, they say like 15-30 minutes a day. That's like a chunk of time to just be sitting in the sunshine. And if we don't have a day with much sunshine, like today, it's super cloudy, rainy. Well, I'm not going to sit outside right now. And I know that there's, filtered sun, but it's not the same. You live somewhere like the Northwest, you're not getting much of that sunshine. So a lot of the people that live in the Northwest don't get enough vitamin D. So I want to share with us, with y'all, and remind myself of the importance of this, is what we actually get, what this vitamin D actually helps us with. So, y'all ready for this? It's kind of bonkers. So, first thing, vitamin D helps prevent dementia. How about that one? Right? It literally helps our brain stay clear and healthy. We need vitamin D to keep our brains healthy, right? This is body, mind, spirit. I'm going to have a little list. Let's see here. Oh, yeah. Not only does it protect against dementia, it also protects against strokes. Like, that's nuts. Um, yeah, huge reduction of dementia and strokes. Something else, and I feel like many of us can attest to this one. It helps with depression. So you feeling sad, you feeling down, feeling a little blue, you need some sunshine. Literally, it helps with that. Um, yeah, it even in the study that I'm sharing from, that they say that when people take vitamin D, it reduced depression better than taking a pill. A pill that they were told, this pill fixes depression, and you all go out in the sunshine. Which one worked better? The sunshine worked better. That's so cool. It also reduces cancer risks. We live in a society where everybody gets cancer, right? It seems like somebody, if not you know somebody who's been diagnosed with cancer, whether they've lived through it or not, right? All types of cancers. The vitamin D sunshine style helps with that because the body's like, oh, wait, I feel good. If I feel good, I don't need cancer all up in here, right? Cancers grow in stressed out environments, right? So if I'm mitigating my depression and I'm getting the vitamin D, I'm setting myself up for success. It also decreases the risk for autoimmune diseases. So many people in our society have been diagnosed with some type of autoimmune issue where your body is fighting itself. And so what they do is they give us a bunch of pills as opposed to letting the body heal itself so it can become a stronger fighter for itself and stop attacking itself. The sunshine helps with that. How easy, how free that is. Literally, it's free to do that. It's free to go outside and get sunshine. Pharmaceutical companies don't make money on that. That's why they don't say, hey, everybody at noon, go take an outdoor lunch break, right? Because, anyway, it reduces the risk of breast cancer. Vitamin D. The amount of breast cancer is ridiculous in our society. I think it's a big energetic thing from people not literally living from the heart and a lot of stress in their lives and a lot of the hormones that people are ingesting through animal products. I love animal products, not when you pump them full of hormones and antibiotics, though. I don't need that stuff. So the vitamin D in the sunshine helps with that. So you lower your risk. So then if you're already, say you've already been diagnosed and you have cancer, you have breast cancer, you've been diagnosed, you have depression, and you might need to be on chemo or this radiation or this pill or this whatever. Great, do it, take it, and go outside, get sunshine. It will help your body naturally so that the medicine that you're taking is still going to work better, right? This one I think is hilarious how uh where vitamin D can work for our bodies. It prevents against COVID, protects against COVID-19, literally. It says that this is particularly true for African Americans, according to the University of Chicago Medicine. Um, they did notice in their analysis that white people that use vitamin D pills did not see as much of a reduction as with the risk of infection of COVID. Um, but according to the earlier research, 80% of the COVID-19 patients were already deficient in vitamin D. So if we get enough vitamin D, our body is healthier. So then if we're exposed to COVID, then we can at least fight it with more ease. Our body's like, I got this, whatever, it's a cold, right? But if we're already deficient, our body's already weak, and then we get exposed to COVID and we're like, oh my God, I'm dying, I can't breathe, right? That's why it's so important to keep our bodies healthy and our minds healthy and our spirit healthy because they all work together. This I thought was really interesting. Vitamin D impacts a child's intelligence. So when I was a kid, I was outside all the time. And then in school, we had recess where we would go outside and play, hot, cold, whatever. Like we were outside. So we, I feel like there's a generation of kids that are so far removed from the outdoors that there's a part of their intelligence that gets to now be in lack. They aren't as intelligent as any other child who goes outside and gets sunshine. And it also makes a difference for pregnant women. Like if you're pregnant, then your child's intelligence will actually be greater as well. So I wanted to share these. I know that there are more. And you can get vitamin D a couple different ways. So say you are like really deficient and you live in the Northwest and you're like, oh great, I can't go outside all the time because we don't have sunshine, right? Like what else can you do? You can take vitamin D supplements. That's totally a thing. You can also I thought it was going to show it on here. So certain foods are rich in vitamin D. Um, I will share that with you right now. Let's see what we can come up with here. Okay. So some of the foods that you can eat that have a lot of vitamin D in it. Okay. Um, egg yolks. Apparently eggs are really expensive now. That's so stupid. I'm so over like just the increased price of basic foods while we have organizations spending billions of dollars spraying chemicals in the sky. Like y'all know this makes no sense, right? Like that we can spend an extra $400 billion for a war that we aren't really related to at all, while we have people here that literally can't afford to buy bread, milk, and eggs. That's such a math equation. I don't even understand. That's why it's so important, I think, for us to actually know how to take care of our bodies, our minds, and our spirits so we don't have to rely on the system that has so far proven itself to be extremely greedy and doesn't really care if they do harm to humans or life on Earth. Silly. So salmon is a good source. Egg yolks, herring, and sardines, which I would much prefer sardines. And I know some people get freaked out about that. They're like, oh my God, gross. So it's because it's a smaller fish, it has the least amount of mercury in it. So it's really good for us so we don't build up that heavy metal. Like if you eat a lot of tuna has a lot of mercury in it. It's a big fish, so it's bigger on the food chain. So all the little fish it eats, all those have a lot of little bits of mercury in it. But if you eat the smaller fish, it has less in it. So sardines are really, really, really great for our health. Um, let's see. Egg yolks. I feel like this site is a little um I'm gonna say biased, if I had to say. I feel like, yeah, yeah. Okay. So yeah, so certain fish, sunshine. So check this little tidbit about the vitamin D. So we will absorb vitamin D easier if we have vitamin K in our system. Vitamin K can be found in fermented foods like kimchi. Kimchi is so good. If you're like, I don't like kimchi, try a different one. It's so good. Like you can learn to like it. But you can do your own research and figure this out. But vitamin K helps the absorption of the vitamin D, and vitamin K is in a lot of fermented foods. Yum. I love that. So anyway, so we know now, right, that vitamin D, sunshine, helps the physical body, right? So good. Don't have to be out there long. You don't need sunblock. You don't need to put the chemicals on your skin. You really don't need to. Like, if your medical doctor has told you differently, please heed whatever medical advice that you believe in. And I go by other studies and my own experience. And so we know it's good for the body. We know it's good for the brain. Like the fact that we can have less dementia if we just go outside more, please. But I want to talk about the spiritual aspect for a moment because the energy of the sun, this vitamin D, not only do we get vitamin D itself for our physical bodies and our mind, but how does the sunshine help our spirit, right? Well, we know that it helps to like liven us up a little bit, make us feel more joyful, more energized, more excited, more effervescent, more radiant. We tend to glow when we have had sunshine, no matter how fair skinned you are. That when you get that light in you, we hold that light. The light comes in, and there's a part of us that kind of holds that light and then emanates back out, right? We are living reflections of the solar system, right? We are the whole universe in our bodies, as above, so below, right? The micro to the macro. It's all here. Like if you look at one little cell, then you can also be looking at the whole cosmos, and it's very reflective of itself, of each other. They're like the same Z's, but not. So the spiritual benefits of the sun, when we look at spiritual texts, they talk about the return of the sun, whether it's SON or SUN. Either way, there are all these stories about the return of the sun. You can call it Jesus, the Horus. Horus was the sun god, um, which has to do with Osiris. That's a whole other story. That's like the Egyptian lineage. Um, Ra, all these images and stories of the returning of the sun, and that light is the eternal life. So this eternal light, this eternal life is within us. So we can be that light and show that light and shine that light and be that light and da 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 da. And we get a little hit of it when we get the actual sunlight. There's a reason that we chose to be humans, to live on the earth and not deep inside of it in the dark. Everything that we've chosen to be as humans in our highest healthy ways is in harmony with the earth and all the attributes that support her. So we need the air to be clean, to be healthy. We need the waters to stay alive. We need the sun, not just for our physical, but for our spiritual. It's part of our calendar system. When we look at the Gregorian calendar that we go by, like that's total BS. It's not even real on any timeline. But the real calendar of nature goes by the sun and the moon, right? So there's all these spiritual components. And why is the spirit so important to take care of? It connects us with a deeper feeling and sense of love, of oneness, of connection, of harmony, of peace, of balance. We feel better when we have a connection to the spiritual aspect of ourself and with each other and with the Great Spirit. And the sun has been, through our entire history of human, extremely important and valuable in that, in every way. When you look back to the indigenous people, the sun was a very key component to their ceremonies, to where they lived, to how they prayed, how they practiced, how they held ceremonies in sacred space. The stars were important too, and so is the lunar cycle. But the sun is very important to our ascension, our healing, our transcending, our rising above, our going to that next step in life and beyond. Look toward the light. They even say in some studies, and I've mentioned this before, that, we can do sun gazing. Not at like high noon, but like sunrise and sunset. That if you look at those colors, that the colors literally go into the eyes. That's how we see light, right? Light comes in, that's how we see images. Light bounces off of the thing and goes into our eyeballs and then tells our brain what those things are. And the colors are therapeutic. So if I look at blue, if I'm feeling stressed and anxious, this is likely to calm me down, right? If I'm feeling super down and depressed, I probably don't need to look at blue. But if I looked at like orange or yellows, that could literally lift my spirits. So when we gaze at the sun during the sunrise and the sunset, we get the whole rainbow of colors, unless they have blocked it with clouds or lines or chemtrails or contrails or particulate trails or whatever the words are that we choose to call it. So my invitation is to get your butt outside. Get vitamin D. If you can't get outside, do your research and see if you're deficient in vitamin D, maybe you could look into taking a high quality supplement. Whatever resonates for you. I'm not a doctor and I'm not telling you what to do. I'm saying do your own research, but I can tell you that sunshine is medicine. And that's why I'm in Florida. It's because I need the medicine. Because I'm here to hold a lot of light. I'm here to have a clear mind. I'm here to have a healthy body. I'm here to feel good. And so are you. So that's what I wanted to talk about, was vitamin D and sunshine. And I'm really grateful that y'all took the time to like check this out. And hopefully it has inspired something that feels better in your life, whatever that is. Just I hope that whatever I shared, that you're like, yeah, I do deserve some sunshine. Or yeah, you know what, I am going to take that vacation. Or you know what, I am going to go take a walk outside. I am going to go breathe that fresh air. I am going to look up at the clouds and the sky and see the blue sky. And I'm going to connect with the earth. And hopefully this inspires just a really deep remembrance of our earthly nature, and that the earth and all of her elements is medicine for us. That's why we chose her and she chose us. Yeah, that's why we're not living on Mars. Right? If we needed Mars elements, then we would live on Mars, but we don't. We need everything that's here, natural. So I'm not saying not take your pharmaceuticals and all that stuff. I'm just saying, get outside, get some sunshine. Don't look directly at the sun if it's like in the daytime. Daytime, right? You burn your eyes out. You burn your eyes out. Don't burn your eyes out. Okay. I love y'all. And I look forward to seeing you all back at the Promise Resource Network in person next Tuesday. So if you're in the Charlotte area, please come by and hang out at 2224 The Plaza. It's a good time. So take care of yourselves, take care of each other, enjoy all of the light that is and that you are. And I will see you all so soon. Okay,